welcome to the For Purpose podcast, Sev.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming around. Sev, we are running this series called the For Purpose podcast, and we are inviting leaders who are driven by a purpose or multiple purposes and driving purpose-driven organizations. And what you are doing very phenomenal, and you intrigued me to be, one of the guests on the series. And I wanted the listeners and the viewers to understand more about what you are and what's your background, your experience, and then tell us, how your purpose has evolved across the years.
Cool. Thank you for having me. Firstly, coming in from a second world country, former Soviet Union, and coming into a place knowing no English at all, communication for me was a little bit of a struggle. And as I went through the school system, I learnt the English language, still not the best at it. Essays, can't do essays. Copywriting, not my thing. But as I have grown into the Australian way of life, I found my feet through the journey of being a football player, and then also finding my spot in education. So my mum being a high school teacher, eventually I decided to go to uni as well and got my education degree. That was my first purpose. My first purpose was I want to make a difference to the next generation of children. And then and there I started to kind of find my own feet in how I'm going to make the impact, and at the same time being really interested in content creation, photography first, and also video, and being able to articulate emotion through that creative space. Firstly, through what I liked to show through my camera. Again, going back to the lack of being able to caption anything properly.
Yeah.
I just wanted to show the image. And then I started to do videos. I started to talk a little bit more on like Instagram stories came out. I loved it because I didn't have to write anything.
Lovely.
So so it all comes back to the when I was a kid. So then at school, I managed to figure out how to clone myself in the classroom. And the way I did that was I would record my lessons on camera 1 hour before the lesson started, like in the morning, well before school started. And it would be the same lesson as I would deliver it to them live on the whiteboard. And the engagement rate went up by like 85, 90%. And I thought, okay, that's good. But I cloned myself because I created a lecture, 25-minute lecture of me teaching a maths lesson. And that's what I was teaching, maths. I would play it in the front of the class. And if any student was disengaged and they started to disrupt, the video would not stop because it's already automatic. And I could personally go up to them and teach them one-on-one with no interruption to the lesson. Then I cloned myself again for a second time or a third time because the school that I taught at had bring your own devices. Everybody had an iPad. I uploaded that video and allowed my students to use headphones to listen to the video at their own pace. Completely pause it, rewind it for the 25, 30 minutes of lecture time. And I had 3 different ways of learning. Nobody else was doing that. I got the idea from a guy called Eddie Wu over East. He was doing it in a similar way, but I thought, okay, how can I do it even better? And this is what I did. I was able to not only help the students in 3 different styles all at the same time, but also reflect on the way that I was showcasing the knowledge. And I was doing it through emotion, through value, a little bit of humor, compassion, all these elements that I discovered back then. At the same time, I discovered TikTok. I was like, okay, let's do it. The students found my account and I started making videos on there because I know I had their attention outside of school too. Much to the disapproval of the school system, but I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was keeping it cool. When COVID hit, I used my same strategy to use TikTok as an educating tool. I made an account called Math Education on TikTok, and I would live stream maths lessons on TikTok. And at the peak of it, I had 20,000 kids tune in 1 week at the peak of COVID.
Very powerful.